love Farhan Trey.
I love Farhan Trey. Please subscribe.
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 I love Farhan Trey. Please subscribe. I love Farhan Trey. Please subscribe.
I love Farhan Trey. Please subscribe.
I love Farhan Trey. Please subscribe.
I love Farhan Trey.
Okay, what's up guys? Farhan here with my friend Hadi from Auto Exchange once again. This was a montage of all of the people who came to Auto Exchange to rent bikes with you all using the promo code that we did. And I just want to thank you guys for using it. The response has been good.
Yep, correct.
Yeah, and also want to thank Auto Exchange for this awesome promotion that's going on so far. So today Hadi has a new deal for me. He's going to rent me the Honda CB190TR, is it?
Yeah, TR.
TR, right? Okay.
Right.
So let's go have a look.
Yeah, man.
Let's go. This is the bike. Wow, guys, it's like I downgrade from a class 2 to a 190cc. This promotion is actually until the end of April, so
Guys, hurry up.
and rent your
call, WhatsApp me.
The number is below. Yes. Yeah. And once
check
again,
on the availability of the bikes.
oh yeah, check availability of the bike. They quickly sold out. I think past few days got sold out.
Yeah. Past few weeks, yeah, correct.
That's why. So yeah because of the promo code.
Yeah.
And Hadi, thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much to Auto Exchange once again. And we're going to do the review of this 190TR. Once again guys, another sponsored video by Auto Exchange. This is the ultimate review of the Honda CB190TR. The Honda CBF190TR is a retro scrambler inspired standard class of motorcycle. It is manufactured in China by Sundiro Honda, a joint venture between Sundiro Investments and Honda. It is marketed towards millennials with affordability and styling. It shares its engine and numerous components with the Wuyang Honda CB190cc series of bikes. Engine is 184cc, air-cooled single-cylinder SOHC with fuel injection and 5-speed manual transmission. In Singapore, the CBF190TR is somewhat a rare sight as it was recently launched. Okay, so we're gonna leave my favorite multi-story car park and we're gonna begin with the review of the CBF190TR, a bike made by Honda, a joint venture between Honda and Sundiro. So, starting up straightforward as if any other motorcycle. I wouldn't expect much from this because I wouldn't expect much from this bike because it's 184cc. The engine is shared with the CB190X, CB190R and the CBF190X, which is made by another Honda and Chinese joint venture, Wuyang Motors. So this is made by Sundiro Investments. I have to say that the handling characteristics wise, it does remind me of my old bike, Hidayah, a Honda CBF150. That is also another China bike. It doesn't really hide the fact that it's actually a China bike, which is why you see the Sundiro branding alongside the Honda logo. And this bike is currently available in Singapore, Vietnam, Laos, countries that are quite close, trading partners with China in particular. And doing my research, I don't see this bike being sold in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in the Philippines. No, one thing I don't like about the CBF190TR is that you can really see how cheap it is. It's really cheap. They even skimp out. Even though you turn on the signals left or right, it shows a hazard on the display. Speaking of switches, right? These switches actually light up in the dark right now. In fact, they are lighting up right now, but then you cannot really see in the day. But just like the car park, you can really see that the switches, to indicate what it is, it actually has a backlight to show what it is, so you won't really mess up your controls in the dark, I guess. So I don't discriminate on the bikes that I review. I review all kinds of bikes, whether it's China-made bikes, expensive bikes, big bikes, small bikes, mainstream bikes, obscure bikes. I try to be I try to be flexible. Okay, so acceleration is pretty sluggish. Nothing really special about it, you know. Even though it's 184cc, once again it shares the same engine as with ZA's Honda Tourism, the CB190X. That is an adventure-inspired model, but this is a retro-inspired scrambler type of bike. And the color scheme really reminds me of the Zontes G155, popular Zontes Class 2B bike, which has a huge 20-litre fuel tank, you know. Okay, so suspension, it isn't that great. I can really feel every bump, every crack, every road marking. So yeah, it doesn't really exhaust too well. Sitting posture on this bike is pretty comfortable, I must say. The seat is quite nice. The fake leather seat, I mean, it gives it a premium feel. I think it's PVC. It should be PVC lah. I mean, leather is a bit too costly. This bike is pretty nimble though. It really reminds me of those driving center bikes, and even Hidayah, my old CBF150. I feel as if I'm in total control of this bike. I mean, it's quite small if you want to cut in between cars like this, you know, it's really small. This bike is a pretty good beginner bike, I must say. I think it will be suitable for P-platers. They just passed out from driving school and they want to get something that handles pretty well in traffic, something small, something probably cheap and light. I think this bike is good lah. The bike is pretty light, by the way, and it really reminds me of those YBR days, you know, when driving centers were still using YBR, and YBR is a very popular choice with all of the veteran riders who want a simple, cheap transport. I mean, the modern features that I can think of is probably the gauge cluster, which is a digital one. This bike also has ABS, it's fuel injection, and the engine is a single stroke, so it vibrates. You can really feel it idling when you are when you're sitting at the traffic light. So you can really feel the engine in your seat. So in the start and stop situations such as you're currently in right now in Tampines New Town, it performs pretty good lah. It's a very easy bike to ride, and if you're stuck in traffic, the gear doesn't hold you back. It changes very easily. You know, I can even go up to neutral very easily. I don't really need to toggle so much. Alright, so we're gonna bring the CBF190TR into the expressway and see how she performs there. Personally, I wouldn't expect it to be fast. I wouldn't expect it to have a high top speed because it's just a simple single cylinder 184cc 2B bike. So I don't think you can get much out of it. Being at 70, the bike is already like almost screaming itself, begging me to slow down or something. For me, my biggest issue is that motorbikes that I made in China, for some reason they're not widely available worldwide. I would say that the similarities for this bike would be the CB190R, another retro-inspired scrambler class of motorbike, and it's popular here in Singapore, and that is a Thai-made bike, by the way. That is widely available in Southeast Asia, but this bike in Thailand is not available. In Malaysia, Indonesia, you don't really see this bike. So that comes the issue when you are traveling or overlanding. There is issue of spare parts in those countries. You cannot find these spare parts in those countries. Since this bike isn't available in those countries, right, aftermarket parts would be an issue with the CBF190TR. Even my old bike, the CBF150, aftermarket parts are virtually non-existent. And I think this is due to the bike's demand, unavailability in those mainstream countries. That's why for me, after riding Hidayah for the past 7 years, the issue with that, when you are traveling to Malaysia or other countries, right, I decided to get a mainstream bike instead, and that's why I got the NC in the first place. Because the NC 750X is available in Malaysia, it's available in Thailand, so there wouldn't be any issue. It's even available in Europe. So if you were to overland to those countries, you wouldn't have an issue lah. And just to let you guys know that Gunsiu, the official Honda dealership in Singapore, they did not bring this bike in. This bike isn't brought in by Gunsiu. So this is parallel import. It's brought into Singapore by independent workshops. In terms of support, you have to rely on the third-party bike shops to bring in the parts, and maybe even Taobao or Shopee or Lazada to bring in accessories or what to Singapore lah. But don't get me wrong lah, I think Taobao should have a wide range of parts if you want to get it. But on an official capacity from the dealership, there is virtually no support from Honda themselves in Singapore. So that is my main issue with these China bikes that these workshops actually bring in lah. And yeah, currently Tampines Expressway, gonna see how she performs in the highway setting. Gonna give it a bit of gas. It's not very fast, guys. I'm at 85 kilometers per hour and it's literally screaming. I don't think I can go faster than that. And this will be good lah for somebody, I mean, who is probably on the budget, who just passed his driving license and wants a simple no frills bike to ride. It really reminds me of the YBR 125 and also the CBF150, my old bike, the simple apek bikes. No, not to offend anyone lah. I'm not really tiptoeing on this bike. My feet is flat on the ground. I think it will be very suitable for short riders. Does well on heavy traffic. As you can see, I'm lane splitting so well. I mean, this is due to the bike's size, and this is due to the bike's smaller profile. This bike isn't really that torquey. The acceleration is quite sluggish, so it's very suitable at low speeds. It's a bike that you want to go slow with. You know, just a nice, relaxing cruise down the highway. Now, I'm not sure if this is in any relation to the Honda CBF 150, in which in Singapore its direct successor is marketed as the CBF190X. This bike, even though it bears the name CBF, I doubt that it's related to the CBF150 lah.
Okay guys, so 3 days with the Honda CBF190TR, and personally I think it's a decent bike lah. I wouldn't say it's that good or that bad. It's kind of decent. Shares the same engine and components as with the CB190 Wuyang series of bikes. Design is inspired by the retro cafe racer scramblers. It has some off-road capability, and then there's also the metal skid plate, which I like. It's really a metal skid plate guys, so I thought it's nice. The design wise, it really has modern cues, and it somewhat follows closely to the CB150R, which is made in Thailand, but this is totally a model on its own. So the best thing about this CBF190TR is that it has the relevant technology such as digital gauge cluster, ABS, LED lighting and all that, fuel injection, which really brings this bike to the current standards of 2020. It's light, good handling, very nimble in traffic, and it's very cheap also. So $6,500 range without COE. I checked it on Carousel and most of the bike shops that are selling this bike. And good fuel economy, even though I didn't really test out the full tank capacities to the limit because I only had like 2 days with it. I didn't really had the chance to ride out much because it's currently raining, and then it also rained the past 2 days, so yeah, we cannot ride this bike to its fullest potential. And then comes the bad side of this CBF190TR. Cheap build quality. Okay, it really looks cheap. Certain parts is not even fastened on properly. You can really see it on the bike. Certain things have been cheapened out, such as the gauge cluster, the lighting, for the signal and the hazards is really combined together. Very sluggish acceleration, very bad top speed. So top speed I think is around 90 to 100. The bike already starts to scream. Acceleration is really wow, it's really bad lah guys. Even for a class 2B, because I think most mainstream class 2B bikes such as the Yamaha MT-15 or R15, even the CB190TR even has better acceleration and launch speed than this lah. Maybe because it's a single cylinder, wouldn't expect much from it lah actually. And yeah, lack of official dealer support. So once again, Bunseo Honda doesn't bring in this bike. It's being brought in Singapore by Apparel Import. The support lies with the individual workshops that actually brought in this bike lah. Not only that lah, and it's also a brand new bike so I wouldn't expect most of the shops to carry spare parts lah. Lack of aftermarket accessories, so don't expect any aftermarket accessories for this bike because of the unavailability of this bike in Malaysia and Thailand. Usually in Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, the market for aftermarket parts is very huge in those countries. So if those bikes are available there, those aftermarket parts will also be trickled down into the Singaporean market also. This is something that the CBF190TR also lacks lah. And with that in mind touring will be an issue for this bike because this bike is not available in Malaysia and Thailand. So it will be the same issue as with my old bike Hidayah, you know. Workshops wouldn't even dare to touch this bike when you have any issues with it. That is something to consider if you are overlanding lah with the CBF190TR lah. So final thoughts and who I highly recommend this bike for. Anybody who wants a cheap cafe racer retro inspired bike for transport from point A to point B. It's a very good beginner bike because it handles really well. It's just like the YBR 125 or your SDC bikes, the CB190R. This bike doesn't attract too much attention or stand out in traffic. I mean, if I look at it, I wouldn't even care about it lah. And yeah, in my personal opinion, there are much better retro inspired scrambler cafe racer bikes out there lah, such as the Honda CB190R EXMOTION or Streetster and the Yamaha XXR 155, which is more to the mainstream side because it's also available in Indonesia and Thailand. I think in terms of manufacturer support is there lah, unlike this one. Those bikes are really much more popular than the CBF190TR lah. So yeah, that's it for my review of the CBF190TR. Once again, this bike is available at Auto Exchange. They've been a very awesome sponsor to me, so do lease your bike with them, do rent your bike with them. They also offer hire purchase, they also offer lease to own options, they also have car rental lah. So this is something that I forget to highlight lah. And once again, use my promo code. Do mention this to Hadi at the office. I love Fahantre. This promo code is available until the end of April lah. So better be quick lah when you want to rent your bike with Auto Exchange lah. And once again, thanks to the guys and Hadi of Auto Exchange. Thank you so much for letting me use the CBF190TR to give you guys this real review and my personal opinion of this bike. And yeah, that's it for the vlog, and we will see you in the next one.